Welcome to Bluff Creek Podcast Radio. I am Sophia.
I'm Jared.
And today's special guest is Kristine Beal.
Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So, when you were little, where did you go to school?
I went to a school called Creek Valley, and it was in Edina, Minnesota.
Okay. Where did you work, or where do you work now?
I'm currently a stay-at-home mom, but previously I worked as a speech-language pathologist at a place called the Alexander Center, which is a developmental and behavioral clinic.
So can you tell us what type of things you did as the speech thing?
Yes, I worked on teams evaluating children whose parents had concerns regarding their development. So I assessed children's speech and language skills, and then if children were identified as having needs in those areas, they would then return to me for therapy to improve those skills.
So, what kind of things did you practice with those kids?
So, for example, if they had trouble saying certain sounds, I would work on, improving their speech accuracy with those sounds. Sometimes kids have trouble understanding language. That's what we call receptive language. So I would work on having them follow directions and those kinds of things.
Okay, where were you born?
I was also born in Edina, Minnesota, so not too far from here.
Okay, so did you move around a lot to different houses?
I was born in Edina, and the house that my parents brought me home to is the same house that they still live in. So they haven't moved. After I graduated from high school, I moved to Iowa City for 4 years, and I attended the University of Iowa. And then when I graduated from college, I moved to Duluth, Minnesota for 2 years to complete a graduate program up there.
So, what was it like growing up in that area?
Oh, it was great. I loved growing up in Minnesota. People have such, I think sometimes if they're not from here, a negative idea of Minnesota and how fun it can be with the change of seasons. Because I think winter is really fun. You can skate outside and you can go skiing. But then, of course, I always love when things warm up and you can be outside in the summertime.
When you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I probably changed my mind a lot, but I was laughing because I remember telling one of my swim coaches that I wanted to be Miss America.
Okay, what's your favorite food?
Gosh. A better question would be, what isn't my favorite food?
Wait, what isn't?
I love all kinds of food. I guess I can't even answer that question.
Wait, what type of food do you like?
Oh, I love any kind of chicken, and I love pasta. Any kind of pasta.
Okay. So, when you talked about being Miss America, what did you have to do to become Miss America?
I just remember that you would do, part of it was to do things to give back to the community and to work with kids who, maybe needed help. So I liked that aspect of it. But as a kid, these women got to wear beautiful ball gowns, kind of like the Disney princesses you see. So that was, I think, a part that was really interesting to me too.
So what exactly, did you ever work in the community ever?
Yes, so I worked, before I was a speech-language pathologist, growing up I really loved to swim. So as a high school student, I obtained my lifeguarding certificate. So every summer in high school and in college, I worked as a lifeguard and a swim instructor.
Okay, do you have a favorite kind of stroke or float?
Yes, I love breaststroke. Love it. And freestyle.
What's your favorite type of float?
Favorite float? Oh, I don't know. I still love water.
So, you really did like swimming then?
A lot. Yep. My activities growing up were swimming and dance. Those were kind of the two things I did throughout my childhood.
So, how did you enjoy dance?
So I danced with a dance studio until I was in high school, and then when I became a high school student, I tried out for my high school dance team and was on my dance team for about 2 years.
Okay.
You can go next.
Okay. What do you like to do for free time?
Oh, in my free time, I really enjoy going for a run. I think that it's great to get exercise. The other piece too is I could just disappear with a good book. My family sometimes doesn't know where to find me because I'm hiding while I'm reading.
So, what are some of your favorite books?
I am currently rereading the book Wonder with one of my children, and that's a book I really, really like. Let's see. I really like the book To Kill a Mockingbird, and I just read the new book out by that same author, which is kind of interesting.
What's your favorite book series?
My favorite book series has to be The Hunger Games. I think that's a lot of people's favorite series.
Did you ever watch those movies?
I have, and I think, is it the final one that's still coming out?
The Mockingjay Part 2.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys read those books?
No.
No.
My fifth grader asked me if she could read them, and I can't decide yet if it's age appropriate or not.
Actually, it is.
You think so?
I have a lot of friends reading those books.
Okay, all right, that's good to know.
Yeah, so do you have any siblings?
I do. I have one older brother named Scott.
So, who exactly is all in your family?
So I have my dad, Wayne, and he's a retired airline pilot. So it was kind of cool growing up with him. He flew me to Hawaii once, which was pretty cool. And then my mom, Ginny, is a retired teacher, but they used to call it home ec, where she taught like kids how to cook and sew. And she's an amazing cook. So it was the four of us in my family growing up.
Do you like to cook?
I love to cook. I don't know if I'm any good at it, but I love to do it.
Well, what is your favorite thing to cook?
My favorite thing to make, I make a killer banana bread. Sometimes I put chocolate chips in it.
Thank you so much.
It's pretty yummy.
Do you ever eat your banana bread?
I do if my kids leave any for me. They kind of go through it first. Yeah.
So, what exactly would you ever do if you can do anything?
If I could do anything now, Sometimes I think I'd like to go back to school to complete some kind of training in physical fitness. I think it'd be kind of neat to be a fitness instructor.
Okay.
Thank you so
So much for joining
us
today. Today's broadcast was brought to you by Bluff Creek Podcast Radio.
Encouraging you to connect with someone new today.
Thank you for having me.